Sambo is a Russian martial arts and combat sport developed from the Soviet Union used to help improve hand-to-hand combat. The word Sambo is an acronym for self-defense without weapons. Sambo is also known as Samba, Kamba, and freestyle wrestling. The ideals in Sambo were first founded by judo master Vasily Oshpikov and Viktor Spiridonov. However, Anatoly Kaliempiev is also considered a founder of Sambo as he was the one to introduce the sport to the USSR All-Union Sports Committee and advanced the sport under the name Sambo. Sambo mixes judo, karate, Greco-Roman wrestling, taekwondo, and the like. The idea was to combine all martial arts in and around the Soviet Union to follow the government's goal of one Soviet culture. As the USSR was made up of many cultures, and a mixed martial art would bring all cultures together. Sambo was originally used by the Soviet Union as a recreational sport for civilians as well as a self-defense skill learned in the military. It was largely used by the Soviet Red Army during World War II. It was also used by the KGB and other military-related elite units as a self-defense skill. However, it was not popular outside of the Soviet territory.
There are three ways to attain victory in Sambo. First way is after a throw when the throw lands on his back and the thrower remains standing. The second way is when the opponent taps the mat twice after being locked into a submission hold. And the last way is when one competitor has 12 points over the opponent's total. There are three different types of sambo. The different types of sambos are combat sambo, freestyle sambo, and self-defense sambo. The combat sambo is a sambo that was made in military, thus it includes weapon usage and disarming techniques. Unlike many of the other styles of sambo, combat sambo also includes a significant portion of striking and grappling. The freestyle sambo was set up by the American Sambo Association in 2004 to encourage non-sambo practitioners to participate in sambo events. Other styles of sambo include self-defense, sport, and special sambo. One of sambo's most effective kicks is side kick. The kick begins by using the planted leg as a stabilizing platform. From there, you could explode your striking leg out like a piston into one of the most vulnerable regions of human body, the rib cage. But more than the stunning side kick to the rib cage, the side kick allows to make safe distance between the opponent. The leg sweep is a move that takes your opponent to the ground. The move begins by dodging the initial assault, then forcefully grab the other person's wrist with one hand. Then a quick strike to the leg will make the opponent off balance. This allows for a quick leg sweep combined with the pull down of the collarbone and the violent takedown. Once on the ground, the fighter pins his knee to the opponent's chest. One of Sambo's most impressive submission holds is the calf crush. To execute the calf crush, a fighter wheels in front of the opponent, threads his leg through the and across the legs of the knee, within grabbing the ankle and flips the opponent onto his back.
The scissor takedown is both an attack move as well as a defense move. Firstly, you should put your hand either around the back of your opponent's neck or in front of his stomach. You should be standing to the side of your opponent. You then jump with both legs. The leg to the front will pin him down while the back legs pin him from behind, and the knee should push in between the opponent's legs. Your free hand should try to push the ground, which will make your attack more effective. The defensive or counter hip throw starts after you dodge an opponent's punch. You grab his stretched out arm from his punch with your left hand, and put your right arm behind his back, slightly grabbing at the side of his shirt. Make sure to align your legs to be parallel to the opponent's, but put your right leg slightly out. Next, you lower your hip, and then use the hip to push your opponent off the ground. You then use your right arm to spin your opponent to the side in front of you, and throw them towards the ground. This will likely disable your opponent for a few seconds. You can then go on top of him to prevent him from getting up. There are also other ways to do the hip throw. This was a more basic version. The shoulder lock move can only be used effectively in very specific scenarios when you are lying on your back against the opponent's chest. Usually when your opponent is trying to bridge or roll you. You first put the arm which is closest to the opponent's head, usually your left arm, under the opponent's head. Then you slide the forearm of your other hand, your right hand, under the opponent's left elbow. His hand is likely grabbing onto you to try to roll you over his body. After sliding your right hand under the opponent's elbow, reach out for your other hand and firmly lock your hands together. Next, you will move the opponent's head up towards your chest simultaneously as you move his elbow in towards his head. This should cause your opponent to fall into submission.